let you read it.
All right, so man, images of Joe Burrow's turf toe injury are being sent to what is that? Noted foot specialist, Dr. Robert Anderson, to be reviewed if surgery is deemed necessary. It would be expected to sideline Joe Burrow for 3 months. Burrow was in a walking boot and on crutches after today's game. Who is more injury prone? Before we answer this question, I just want to let y'all know that these turf toe injuries are very, very serious injuries, right? These turf toe injuries can ruin guys' careers. And I don't wish that on Joe Burrow. They just have to be very, very cautious with how they approach this situation. Because honestly, this could be one that damages him for a long time if they don't get it right.
Wow.
So getting into it, right? Who is more injury prone? Is it Tua or Joe Burrow? What's your thoughts, DG?
It's a tough one right now. Very, very tough one. Um, Joe Burrow, torn ACL. Uh, I think he tore his wrist, whatever you call it, broken hand bone, multiple of things. But two, I feel like his injuries affects his play more than Joe
Mm,
Burrow. Joe Burrow with his injuries, it doesn't seem like it affects him too much. He still is able to go out there and execute on a high level. But with Tua, it seems like in regards to the hip injury, it kind of affected him in regards to his power
mm.
coming from his body overall. So as of right now, I think Tua is probably more injury prone. If Tua had to go toe to toe with a linebacker compared to Joe Burrow, I think Joe Burrow coming out alive
Mm.
compared to Tua.
Yeah,
Joe Burrow might get injured, but I think a big hit from a linebacker might take out Tua for good.
yeah.
So, in regards to being injury prone, I'll give it to Tua. But Joe Burrow, he's right up there. This was the number one overall pick in 2020 and the number five overall pick in 2020. But they have shown us that they're unable to stay healthy. This could mean that Joe Burrow, he could be available. I think a team would be willing to give up maybe one first, two first if things don't work out with the Bengals because it's starting to look like the Andrew Luck situation with him getting hurt and him being a good quarterback when he had to abruptly retire from the NFL from turf toe, a similar type of injury.
Yeah.
So it might be best to get Joe Burrow away from Cincinnati, maybe a new type of scenery. They failed to put a good old line in front of him, which is a reason why I think that he hasn't been able to stay healthy. So I don't know. I see Joe Burrow being one of those QBs, those very good QBs that very rarely become available. I'm not saying the Dolphins should target him, but if we are in need of a quarterback at that moment where Joe Burrow is available, maybe that's something that could be explored by many teams who are quarterback needy at that time.
Honestly, it's crazy. I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say that Joe Burrow is more injury prone than Tua Tagovailoa.
Mhm.
Um, Tua's had little things that nagging, like little nagging things, and he's had the concussions. The concussions being the biggest one, and I think the concussions were big because of the season, because of the NFL thing, the way it was shown on TV. Tua automatically had to go to IR a couple times as a result of the concussions. I
Mhm.
think Joe Burrow's injuries are way more serious, and they've sat him down for longer periods of time. I think Tua has found a way to kind of stay healthy now for the most part, knock on wood. And I feel like moving forward, this trajectory, I mean, it's a tough position to be in for Cincinnati. Like they're constantly like every other year, Joe Burrow's out. Like, and they're missing the playoffs. They just don't have a shot. So it really does, make you think like Joe Burrow got paid a big contract too, right? People
Mhm.
talk about Tua's contract. Like, why did Tua get paid all this money, but Joe Burrow got paid a lot of money too. Why did Joe Burrow get paid all this money? Like
He made it to
he's
the Super Bowl.
yeah, he made it to the Super Bowl, but he's stealing money right now. DG, he's stealing money.
As Dolphin fans, we should not be saying that.
Bro, he's
We're going
stealing
through the same
money.
thing.
He's still at least two on the field right now, bro. Like Joe Burrow's stealing money, dog. Like he stealing.
But I feel like Bengals fans, they're more content than Dolphin fans
Why
because of
though?
that. Huh?
Because of the Super Bowl they had,
Exactly.
but they
Once you make it that
lost.
far, like that's why I want us to at least win a playoff game. That would settle our fan base for at
Is
least a year or two before we start requesting for them to at least get another playoff win or get to the Super Bowl. You know, that Super Bowl
is
kind of gives you patience.
is Joe Burrow um a younger Dan Marino?
A younger Dan Marino.
Is he
I can
just
see
gonna have?
that.
Is he gonna have that career of got to the Super Bowl, didn't win it, and then just was kind of faded away after that? Still played good football, but was injured a
Mhm.
lot, and just played good football. Never made it back to the Super Bowl, and never did anything outside of that. Do you think is that what it's looking like right now?
It's possible if they don't fix the old line in front of Joe Burrow, if they don't take that serious, then yeah, that is definitely possible. And Joe Burrow, he has to be careful in regards to the way he plays. You know, he's not the fastest of QBs, but he has to be smart in order for him not to get hit as much. You know, Lamar Jackson, you would expect Lamar Jackson to be more injury prone than Joe Burrow, but Lamar
Yeah,
Jackson is so good at avoiding hits.
avoiding it.
He has the speed and everything, you know. But if you're a smart quarterback, you could avoid those hits that may come to you if you scramble out for like 5, 10 yards
Yeah.
and just slide, you know. But Joe Burrow, he has an issue with that. Even though his last injury, it was like a non-contact injury. It wasn't even from somebody hitting him, you know. But
Hmm.
at the same time, you could tell by Joe Burrow play, he's kind of reckless. In regards to how he plays, he don't care about getting hurt. He'll run over a DB if he really wanted to.
Maybe Joe Burrow is Philip Rivers. A guy like
Mhm.
Philip Rivers, but I don't think Philip Rivers ever got to the Super Bowl. But I feel like he's on that same trajectory. Um, but I do think he's more injury prone than Tua, just because I feel like his injuries have been like season ending injuries, and I don't think he's coming back from this turf toe thing. I think he's really got to like take his time and figure it out and do it the right way instead of forcing it to come back. Because honestly, if he tries to come back too early and ends up getting worse, then he could be looking at retiring super early, and that's not what he wants.
Now, you know what I think? This is my hot take.
Hot take.
Hot take right here. I think Joe Burrow will not end his career only being a Bengal. He will end up on another team. I don't know what team that will be, but he won't
Hmm.
spend his whole career as a Bengal. For sure. After this injury right here, for sure, for sure.
Dang. So you saying because of the injury, you feel like he's gonna be out of there for the most part. And it may not
Yeah.
be right away, but you just feel like for some reason he's gonna be on another team sometime soon.
Yeah, like some quarterbacks that are so beloved by their team, you never imagine them leaving their team in general. You know, I can't use Tom Brady as an example because he won six before he left.
Yeah.
You know, but I feel like a quarterback like Joe Burrow that his fans, the Bengal fans, love dearly. It's gonna get to the point as to where that love dies out because you're not on the field, and they're more willing to let you go with all these injuries piling up throughout the years. So
Yeah.